Recording.
So I see that smiley face on the back of your coat. Is that a way there's a smiley face on the back of your jacket. Is that a way you're feeling right now after this performance?
I mean, it's better than losing, like I said. No, I mean, it's just a jacket, fun little jacket. I like the bling.
Now that the game's been played, I was in pregame with you and Spoon. Game's over, you won. What was that like being coaching against your former teammate?
Honestly, I mean, I'm not really paying that much attention to what she's doing. I'm focused on our team, what we're supposed to be doing. I thought they made good adjustments at halftime. Kind of came out through a punch to the mouth there in those first 3 or 4 minutes, forced me to call a timeout. So that her teams are always going to compete. I think on that first possession in the third quarter, they got like 3 or 4 offensive rebounds. She was all over them to get on that glass. So I mean, her team is competitive. They play hard and they never give up, which is very, very much how she is.
What do you think about you guys respond? You said they made that first run in the third quarter after halftime. What did you like about the way your team responded after that?
Well, I mean, just after having a really great second quarter, we didn't have much carryover. Like, you got to go back to the things that got you the lead and understand what those things are, which is playing defense, blocking out, winning the board, and then so we can play out of our defense. When you're not getting stops or you're giving them multiple efforts and multiple tries, it's hard to play out of your defense. They get 3 or 4 shots on it. That's going to be difficult. So we just went out and amped up the defense a little bit more, got a little more precise offensively, and then, you just got to go play. Obviously KP got on a little bit of a heater there for a stretch, and eventually that worm is going to turn. Shooting wise, I thought Mabry obviously coming out the gates hurt us. I think she had 13 in the first quarter and then 9 the rest of the game. Good job, babe. And after that, I felt like we did a pretty good job for the most part.
Coach Kennedy has obviously been such an electric spark throughout the entire season for the Sky thus far. Kelsey was really great in matchups with her today. What did you like from Kelsey in the second half of the game versus the first?
Well, I mean, I think, Kelsey works really hard on the defensive end. I think, Kennedy's speed is obviously an issue. KP's really fast, foot speed wise. So somebody who can be locked in and understands the scout, understands what we're trying to do. We ended up having to put Jack on Mabry because she's the one that started cooking a little bit. So, at the end of the day, everybody got to do their job. She started to take care of Mabry a little bit, and then KP, and then obviously it's a collective effort on the boards, but I thought our posts did a really good job playing defense overall. I mean, Camila obviously wasn't a huge factor. Angel got away from us a little bit, but I thought overall really good performance considering how they attacked the paint. I mean, you are just on your toes the whole time when they're trying to get into that paint.
Yeah, Stokes kind of set a tone for you guys defense too. What, 6 blocks, 7 blocks?
Yeah, well,
6.
She's a pretty good defender. Asia would tell you that. She does a lot of little things that help you win a basketball game. Probably doesn't get enough credit for the things that she does do. We liked her side. We liked going big against this team. Obviously, they're very big in the post, so we tried to keep our bigs, as much as possible on them.
Any more from the room before we go to Zoom?
Well, can we go ahead and go to the players?
Yes.
Okay. A game like this where it is so hard fought, and we couldn't really just put them to bed till the end. What does that kind of teach you about yourself in this team?
Just how to be resilient. That's the biggest thing when it comes to just playing. We're going to get everybody's best. So it's going to be hard for us to put teams away because they're going to have that edge. They're going to have that want to be the champs. So it puts us in a role to where we have to control what we can control and just keep outdoing us. We can't get too high with the highs, can't get too low with the lows. We just got to be resilient on both sides of the basketball. And I think you saw that a little bit. We got into a little funk, but we always seem to pull it out. And that's us, and that's growth for us. And we're going to continue to grow in that factor. But I think that's the next step for us to be an even better team.
Really for any of y'all, but this 3-1 streak and 3 out of 4, just kind of what have you liked about this stretch that you guys are playing well, or what are you most optimistic about?
That we're getting into our flow. We're getting into our respective, like, I don't want to say ourselves because that kind of sounds crazy, but we're getting into a flow and where we're comfortable and we're really running our system. But I think biggest thing is we're really starting to lock down on the defensive end and on our assignments. I think that was the biggest difference between our wins and our losses. It's like seems as if we were just a step behind or just a little slow or just not communicating. And I think we're starting to, when we do feel those lulls, we try to snap out as quickly as possible. So I think that's kind of what's getting us the wins. And obviously when you're having your point guard back into the flow and people can go to their respective positions, it kind of eases up the job a little bit for people. So I think that's so key for us to continue to move forward.
Angel Reese the entire night, just first time playing against a roster like this. What were your thoughts matching up against her tonight?
I mean, we let her get away in some cases, so we can't really have that. I mean, she's too good in that area for us to let her get out. But I think on the grand scheme of things, it was a great competitive game, and everybody played. They did their assignments. I mean, they did what they were going to do. We did what we were going to do. So at the end of the day, I feel like we got some growth that we can learn when it comes to guarding her and defending her. But obviously, she held her own.
We're gonna jump to Zoom. Paloma, go ahead, and then Michael, you're on deck.
Hey, Asia, wanted to ask about Chelsea Gray back in the starting lineup tonight and just what immediate impact she had right away and to help you guys get this win.
Yeah, I mean, when Chelsea's back, we're a lot more organized. The flow of the game, the pace of the game is back on our side. So it's always good to have her in the starting lineup. She's getting back into the groove of things, which is what I love to see. Is she's getting more comfortable. I don't see any rust on her, so that's pretty big time. But no, she's getting us where we need to be. She's the head of our snake. So having her back in the starting lineup is obviously going to be very special for us moving forward.
MA?
Yeah, thank you. Aisha, this is a question for you and Jackie, if you have any thoughts about it. Obviously, a lot's happened in the last 2 weeks with Chelsea coming back, but you had a real passionate, moment after that New York loss where you talked so much about wanting to motivate your teammates and getting the best out of this whole team. I wonder, like, that was something that seemed like really resonated with your teammates. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that moment. You guys haven't lost since then, obviously, and then if Jackie has any thoughts about that.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know, that was a very vulnerable moment for me, but at the same time, it was a moment that I feel like my teammates needed to hear. I don't have an opportunity to really tell them that one-on-one. So obviously as a collective, because we're all going our own ways, we game after game after game. We don't really have time to really share how much you love and care for a person. And that's what I needed to let my teammates know. And it just happened to come after a loss against New York. But I could have said it at any time, but that time was just the best for me. So, and I'm going to continue to be that way. I'm going to continue to want the best out of them. I mean, today I had to kind of wake Jackie up a little bit because that's what I do. And when I see that in my teammates and I see them not playing to their potential, I think Jackie will be the first person to let you know. I'm going to let you know about it. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. It was a big moment for not only myself, but for my team moving forward. Is sometimes you got to let people know that they're loved so they can love on themselves a little bit more. And so that's one of my roles here. And I don't take that for granted at all.
Jackie, just if you have any thoughts on that, just the way Asia, she leads in a lot of ways, but I think sometimes the things she says really do mean a lot to her teammates.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's the leader of this team, and whenever she has something to say, you listen. And so, we know that she's going to speak up sometimes whenever she feels like it's necessary. Today, I think it was first quarter maybe.
Yeah.
We had a little talk. It was good. It was all good. We've been together a long time, and so yeah, what she said like really stuck with me, and I was able to just flip that switch and just move on. So I think just being able to have someone like this on our team in the locker room that is one of the best in the world, but also cares about each one of her teammates is something that she doesn't get enough credit for. She has the weight of the world on her shoulders, but she's always being a great teammate and taking care of us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Cali and then to the long lost Christos.
Christos from Greece.
Calling in from Greece. It's gotta be.
Girl, we don't want to hear you. Come on, hurry up, Kelly. We want to talk to Christos.
Sorry, I'm trying. I didn't want to interrupt. Okay, this is a question for anybody. Early in the season, Becky said that the team just didn't have an identity yet, and now you've won the past three. Chelsea is back, and I'm just wondering what you would say that identity is now.
What's our identity, babe?
Our identity is the defensive end, and when they play that end, everything else takes care of itself.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think what Asia was alluding to in the 3-game stretch when you're talking about being us, we're just getting more consistent in that, and we'll still have these lapses, but the good thing is we can regain, we can take a punch and then resume who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to play and be that standard. I very rarely, I'm always coaching them on what's expected of them. Like I said, I'm paying attention to the other team, but not as much as to my team and making sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. At the end of the day, they're going to do what they do. But if we're doing what we're supposed to do, I feel really good about us. And, at the end, it's hard to win games on the road. This is a team that never goes away. They play hard for 40 minutes. And so I'm starting to like our bounce back. Because the question is not whether you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. People are going to throw punches. It's how you are able to take that hit and then resume forward progress.
Christos, and then the Zoom portion will close with Matthias.
Hello, ladies. Congratulations on the win, first of all. I have a question for you. How much do you enjoy playing against a player like Angel Reese, and what did you see from her so far in her WNBA rookie season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited to compete. I'm always excited to just go out there and play. I don't take playing this game in this league for granted at all. So it's always going to be fun. And I think just the biggest thing that I see from Angel is just her speed and the want to get the basketball. I feel like you don't see that in a lot of players all the time, is that second and third efforts to go get the basketball, and she has that in her. So it's always good to compete. Like Coach said, this team just never goes away, and you love teams like this because they really keep you on your toes. You never get a chance to take a deep breath, and that's how a lot of these games are played in this league. So yeah, it was a good one. It was a fun one for us.
Matthias, did you still have a question? You unraised your hand.
Yeah, I got a quick one for Asia. As you've been bringing the ball up after defensive rebounds a little bit more often this year. Just how do you gauge your own progress, in that regard?
I don't know. I just kind of do it. I just do it to take a little pressure off of my guards because they be going through it up there. And Becky has allowed me to do it. And when she feels like I'm not doing it, she's going to tell me that I'm not doing it, which means I have to do it. So yeah, I just kind of go for it. And at the same time, I love seeing the game from that angle. I feel like I see it flipped a lot of the times. So it kind of gets my wheels turning a little bit. I get to think it through, make decisions, dime a couple people to get my assist up. So it's
turning her into a point forward.
A Ricky Rubio situation. They call me Ricky Rubio in practice because I really be passing the ball.
I haven't heard them call you Ricky one time.
Okay, but yeah, it's Ricky Rubio. But yeah, it's
not be the same thing.
She didn't be listening. But yeah, it allows me to really see the game in a different way that I wasn't expecting to see until year 10. So it kind of sped up a little bit. I wasn't trying to bring up 10 because
That's it for Asia. She's got something to do. But if there are one or two more questions for Jackie or Becky.
Oh, Jackie's out too, just me.
I gotta live, Becky. Yeah, we gotta play.
I'm in sleep. You trying to set me up.
Jackie, you know,
I had two of them.
Baggy's famous.
Not gonna lie, I had two collections.
I'll come back to one another.
No, thank you.
Any from the room to close out with Becky?
Coach, I got one for you. When you guys go through that tough stretch with four out of five, was it 4 out of 5, 3, whatever it was?
Oh no, I've had amnesia to that part of my season.
Smart. Is that a situation where you and the coaches become more vocal since you have Asia and Chelsea and leaders like that, where you kind of let the ladies police the locker room themselves? So it's like a collective.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I talk to Asia frequently on the phone. Sometimes just to bounce things off her. sometimes just to chat, see how she's feeling, because she's doing a lot of work for us on both ends. But during that stretch, we were dealing with some things behind the scenes. People were sick, kind of lethargic. So there's a lot of different things that we were dealing with that people don't really know about. I thought we were getting great minutes from AC during those stretches, even though we were losing. And, I made the decision to put her back on the bench because, she would get 10, 13 points and it didn't even feel like nothing. I'm like, it hits different when it's coming off the bench. You get 10, 13 points from somebody. So, we switched it up. Plus it gave me another ball handler with Tiffany Hayes. And now, obviously getting Chelsea back helps. But during that stretch, I just felt like we were moving in the right direction, even though we were losing some games. I felt like they were winnable games. There was obviously points in every one of those games where, it could have gone either way. So we just use that as growth, every one of my seasons with these ladies have been different. We've hit rough patches at different times every time. My first season, it was right before All-Star break. My second season, it was after All-Star break where we had a crazy road schedule, went to the White House, dropped a couple in a row. And then this year it started at the beginning of the year. Getting Chelsea back is a huge thing. I mean, you're playing in a professional basketball league with no point guard really. And it takes KP out of her position. It takes Jackie out of her natural position. With Chelsea in the lineup, a lot of nights, she's generating 30 to 35 points. So when Kia doesn't score or Kia only scores 4, you don't feel it as much when Chelsea's out there. But when there's no Chelsea and Kia's only getting you 6 to 8, which is great for us when she does that, it just looks and feels differently. The part that was frustrating through that whole thing was just the defense. I didn't think our defense is where it needs to be. I still don't think it's where it needs to be to try to accomplish the things we're trying to accomplish. So I've made it very clear to them. You want to win, you got to play D.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you gonna go home with cookies?
Yes, you do.
No. Thanks.
Gotta hold it in the box.
No, you gotta go.
Yeah.